We are nearing the end of these set of episodes about the collaborations between male seiyuu artists that have impressed me over the years. We are going to wrap up this series with Wataru Hatano and Kotaro Nishiyama. They collaborated in 2023 for the Conceptual EP Dawn. So let's talk about that collaboration and why I feel it's one of the most underrated ones and why it is one of the most experimental and fun ones we have there. So let's kick off this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Welcome to SEIYUU Lounge, I'm your host Vanessa, and in this episode let's talk about the collaboration between Wataru Hatano and Kotaro Nishiyama. They collaborated in 2023. This is the last CD that Wataru Hatano released, at least at the time of recording this episode. We are in January 2026. He hasn't released more music since then, but it is the most recent CD, can we say, from Wataru Hatano. It is called Dawn. It is a conceptual CD, and what I found really interesting about this is that Wataru Hatano has been on a conceptual CD series or CD vibe for a couple of years. Dawn is a full-on concept CD because it has not only music but also drama tracks, and for those drama tracks not only he is performing those but also he enlisted the help of Kotaro Nishiyama, who came in to join in the fun and make this conceptual album all the more interesting. The thing about Dawn, and you can see from the cover if you go check it out on streaming platforms, is that it feels really ethereal, and the vibe is ethereal. The CD features a total of 6 tracks, only 3 of those are songs, and what you will find here is a set of ethereal, really beautiful songs that perfectly tie up with the story. I'm not going to spoil the story because honestly, this album or this conceptual album was crafted for you to feel everything from start to finish and to be immersed in that story and experiencing it for yourself. So I'm not going to go that route, and I'm going to try to steer clear from talking about the music too much because I feel that as soon as I start talking, I will spoil everything, because I get super excited about the music. But still, you have here, and I'm going to preface this because I got to review this song last year for the review advent calendar. I reviewed Hoshito Tabibito. This is the last song in Dawn. It features vocals by Wataru Hatano and Kotaro Nishiyama. Indeed, it is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. Super ethereal, beautiful song. It is, let's say, a ballad, suiting Wataru Hatano's voice super well, but also making Kotaro Nishiyama's voice sound super ethereal within the song and suiting this song also perfectly. It is one of those instances in which you listen to a song and you feel that everything in there is right. It feels right. It is correct. It is how things should be. That's the feeling that I get from Hoshito Tabibito. That's one of those songs that really makes you just close your eyes and feel yourself immersed into those ethereal vibes. It's super dreamy. It's one of those songs that you need to listen to actually form an opinion, of course. It's not a really easy song to describe, I feel. I tried my best in the review advent calendar episode as I was coming across the song for the very first time. It's not a really easy song to elaborate upon, basically, but also you will feel that it is kind of cinematic for sure, and it will take you to a place that you will enjoy. I feel that you will enjoy. Unless you don't like ethereal music, and if that is not your thing, maybe you are not going to enjoy these. But yeah, Dawn is a beautiful conceptual album that has really interesting ideas. I know that this album didn't hit that well with some people because some fans were expecting the album to be just music instead of music and drama tracks. I'm usually put off by drama tracks within a CD, especially if it is a solo artist. I'm not expecting drama tracks at all or drama parts within songs at all because the drama parts within songs sound cheesy to me, and drama tracks within an album make it so that it feels like a drama CD more so than a music album. But what he wanted to do here was a sort of a crossover between art and parts of the art that he is or has been immersed in for years. Wataru Hatano is one of the best voice actors in Japan of the moment. That's without a question. I feel that he's super underrated, but all the work that he has in his repertoire is really impressive. And when it comes to the music, he also has a long solo career. He was one of the very first male SEIYUU from, let's say, the generation from the 80s to actually release music consistently, and doing so before being a voice actor and a singer at the same time was a trend. So mad respect to him, because he was doing that before this was even a trend, and he has always been super consistent in his music and also in the way that he conducts himself as a solo artist. So that's things that I really appreciate a ton. So people came across this CD, they were expecting only music, they found drama tracks. The drama tracks barely were listened to. For example, if you go to Spotify, the contrast between the songs and the drama tracks is massive. More 50,000 listens to a song than to the drama track, which is crazy. So not many people have listened to the album fully, they have only listened to the songs. I feel that with conceptual albums specifically, you need to listen to the album from start to finish, otherwise you miss interesting plot points, maybe some twist in the story, maybe the songs are there just to complement the story, the drama tracks, so you need to listen to both, and in the order that it is crafted. I'm really respectful about conceptual albums. I listen to those from start to finish without skipping tracks and without shuffling anything, because I want to be immersed in that story. That's something that I really love, to be immersed in that story. And when an artist takes the time to craft that story for you, at least the thing that you need to do for the very first listen is to listen as intended. They wanted you to listen to the story, so listen to the story, and the music will complement that story and wrap it up neatly with Hoshi to Tabibito in this case. So yeah, that's my stance about conceptual albums, but I'm a person that loves conceptual albums. I've talked extensively about that on this podcast, and I may talk about that in a couple of episodes, because there are more conceptual albums since the time that I recorded that episode. But yeah, that was awesome. Then when we go to the vocals themselves, I like the dynamic between Wataru Hatano and Koutaro Nishiyama. They have been working together on and off in some projects. They are both in the Idolish 7 franchise. Of course, Wataru Hatano leading the way for Trigger and Kotaro Nishiyama as part of ZEIYUU. They have been in some way working in the same projects. They are both in Ensemble Stars as well. So you have that connection. They also have another connection because they are from the same talent agency. They are from 81 Produce, one of the top 3 agencies in Japan, which is insane. And they have been basically working together and around each other for a long time. And I feel that for that generation of those SEIYUU already in their mid-30s, Kotaro Nishiyama, Soma Saito, we are talking about that generation. They were under the training of Wataru Hatano in some capacity and looked at him as a veteran that they wanted to emulate. So they have been super close since the start. And to see that closeness, when you go, for example, to this release, you notice that Kotaro Nishiyama and Wataru Hatano fit really well together when they are performing. There's a harmony between their vocals. Wataru Hatano has a lower voice per default, but he can belt super well. He's super emotional as well. Kotaro Nishiyama has a more ethereal, I would say more androgynous voice. It fits super well with the style of music that he performs as a solo artist, as well as with this specific EP. He sounds super ethereal, and what he wanted in Dawn is a super ethereal style of singing. So it can get really haunting at times and super beautiful at others. So they work super well, not only by themselves within this CD, but also together, because their voices complement each other and do awesome stuff there. There's the chemistry to begin with, which is something that is invaluable for a performance. They already know each other. They admire each other, so that helps a ton when they are actually performing. And as a whole, I feel that Dawn is a super interesting collaboration, a bit outside of the box for collaborations, because usually you have the collaboration being, this is a set of songs, they are either going to perform 2 songs together or 6 songs together, never a full album, and never a conceptual album, because a conceptual album usually starts from a place super close to the artist, especially if they were the one behind the concept, if they are the one behind the story, or if they were the one deciding stuff about it. It feels super personal to see a conceptual album being shared with another artist. This is rare, and I believe the very first time that it has happened for male SEIYUU artists to have a conceptual album being shared with another artist, which is rare, it's super interesting, and given the story that we find here and the whole vibe that we find here, it actually makes sense. But still, when I look at conceptual EPs, I think this is a super personal release. And then you look at it, and it is really unique in its composition. Let's talk about composition, not the music composition, but the way it is laid out, having 3 drama tracks intertwined with 3 songs, which is also not something that you would share with another artist. Usually you would keep that to yourself and basically do that all by yourself, but he wanted to share that and he shared that with Kotaro Nishiyama. I feel that as a whole, Dawn is super innovative in terms of what it means for collaborations, that they can be more than just a couple of songs. They can be something deeper, something that will connect them to their main passion, voice acting, and their current passion or their side passion, which is music. And it works super well to blend those 2 worlds together, because by the end of it all, a voice actor performs the script and a singer performs the lyrics. So what they are doing is essentially the same, but in different mediums, but still at their core, their skill set is the same and they are creating art. And I like to see that blend of the 2 sides of their careers in this EP. And I like to see a conceptual EP try to challenge what is that idea behind what is a conceptual EP. Can it have drama tracks? Does it need drama tracks? Can we have another SEIYUU joining in the drama tracks? Or joining in for the songs, or for the whole EP? A conceptual album is super close to the artist that is actually spearheading it. So to see that idea of sharing it with another is super interesting. It's rare to see once again, and I found it really interesting at the time. Of course, I'm not going to dive into the music itself because that's going to be super spoilery, and if you want to see me reacting to Hoshito Tabibito, you will find that in the YouTube channel. So just search for Wataru Hatano and you will find my video reaction to that song. It was the very first time that I listened to it, so you are going to get my reactions for the very first time there. It is a beautiful song, that's my spoiler, but I'm not going to talk much about that, otherwise we are going to spoil that all. And as a whole, I don't have much more to say. This one, I'm going to keep it short. This is one of those collaborations that made me think you can have a really soft sound. 2 singers that have complementary voices, but super well for that soothing, ethereal sound. You can play around with conceptual albums as much as you can, because if they have a concept, you are free to do whatever the heck you want in there. Either you are following a main plot story, or you are crafting a story across different types of media within a CD. You can do whatever you want. That's a thing that I love about conceptual CDs. You can do whatever you want in there, and that's why I get super excited when I see, oh, this is going to be a conceptual CD. I want to know what was going on in the artist's head when they crafted the concept, or how they achieved the concept that they said they were working around, or that is at the core of that EP. Usual conceptual albums are more EPs than full-length albums, because it is easier to contain a story within 6 songs instead of containing it in 10 to 12 songs, which is much harder to do. Very few artists do that. I would say only Somasaito does that. So this was all from me about Dawn and the collaboration by Wataru Hatano and Kotaro Nishiyama. Let's go to the outro. Well, these episodes flew by in an instant. It doesn't feel like it, but we have been talking about collaborations for over a month, and I'm super geeky about these because I would love to see more collaborations in the future. I feel that SEIYUU artists have so much talent, and there are so many possibilities to have SEIYUU artists collaborating because they have similar voices or similar vibe, or they are close friends, and I would love to see what close friends can do. There's a ton of possibilities there. This collaboration, of course, was between friends, and they are from the same talent agency, which is really awesome. It was interesting to see that Lantis was okay with letting Kotaro Nishiyama collaborate with Avex, and in this case, Wataru Hatano. They are not from the same music label. Lantis is usually not that open when it comes to collaborations outside of the music label, so this was interesting to see happening. But yeah, I believe I've talked plenty about Wataru Hatano and Kotaro Nishiyama. I love both of them. They have super underrated solo careers, which is a pity, both have awesome music. Kotaro Nishiyama is the only SEIYUU artist performing city pop music, so that already deserves the spotlight. If you ever want to dive into city pop music but with a modern take on it, that's Koutaro Nishiyama for sure. I've said this countless times before, he's a super smart singer. He's not the best singer out there, but he's super smart about it. He knows his strengths and limitations, and he has music around making him sound super good without making a ton of effort to sound super good, which is awesome. Once again, I've talked plenty about how and why he's, in my opinion, a super smart singer. Wataru Hatano has a long repertoire as a solo artist, mostly a pop rock artist. He has so many highlights. Honestly, just go check his music and you will find all those highlights. Some of his songs are unbelievably good. He's a master when it comes to performing ballads, but if you want him to perform a dance song, he also is going to impress you a ton. So, not only do you have this awesome collaboration between both of them, but you also have the possibility of checking their repertoires and discover two artists that are super good. They don't get the attention that they deserve. Once again, this is a topic that goes across all these collaborations, that they are so awesome that I don't understand why people didn't support those collaborations more, and also why not more people got into their music individually. But yeah, I fully recommend you to check their music once again, and this collaboration as well. So what do you think about this collaboration between Hatano and Kotaro? Do you enjoy, or did you enjoy Dawn? Have you checked it? Which is your favorite song? What did you like about this conceptual album? I would love to know all of that in the comments below. If you are on a streaming platform, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I would love for you to follow the podcast and leave a review. It's fairly simple and helps other people find this podcast. If you are on YouTube, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This helps a ton to grow the channel and to bring more people here to find and discover this love that we have for male SEIYUU artists and 2D music. Thank you so much for listening or watching this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.